So Jeff just came back from picking up all our insulated concrete forms. It was about 3 hours away. How long did it take you to get back, drive back?
It was a little over 3 hours.
And he borrowed his mom's truck and Chris's trailer. And he somehow managed to get all of them on. And now we're gonna go get rebar.
All right, so I wanted to walk you guys through our insulated concrete forms, the ICFs that I got. So this is what they look like. They got a whole bunch of bracing in there that's tied, molded right into the polystyrene, and so they lock together, interlock together with all these little interlocks, and then you fill the center with concrete when they're all up. So I wanted to walk you through what I'm doing. Today I built a jig because these are exactly 4 feet. I'll show you the jig first. So I built this. The form fits down right in the middle, and then if you look down at this, you can see that angle there. It's a 7.5 degree angle. That's what we use to cut these blocks. They're exactly 4 feet wide, and so it fits down right here in the form. I can do this one-handed like that. So you can see now I got the form in there, and then what I do, let's see this side, is I then make sure it's square here. It's not quite square. It needs to be touching just barely on the corner, and just barely on the corner here. So since I want a 4-foot wall to put the wood on, we had to kind of modify these. So I'm going to cut the angle here, but this inside corner to this inside corner is exactly 4 feet. So I need a 4-foot piece of concrete. So we'll fill this small triangular gap with spray foam. But to cut them to shape, just have a simple handsaw. Pretty cool. And then I line it up with this angle, and then just kind of cut my way through, following that angle. And then I've got another brace down here where it gets a little harder. You can see now my saw is touching both, so I know it's cutting at the same 7.5 degrees. And there you have it. So what we cut is this little angular piece, and then this will meet up with the other one. Let's just cut this side really quick. And I'll show you how it fits together in the rest of the form. Didn't do a very good job cutting this one. Alright, I'll fix it here. Doesn't have to be exact, but you'll get the idea. Kind of like that. So once you have that cut, you can see I'm not very good at doing this one-handed, but whatever. So then it comes out of the form, a jig, whatever you want to call it, tool, and it comes over here to the other ones. And inside here, you can see it's got little ridges to hold the rebar. And this, if it's cut right, should lock together with the one below it. So you just kind of tap it together. And you can see there's the seam. It's a nice tight fit. And you can see the angle just about lines up. We haven't braced it yet, so once we brace it, these will all be nice and tight. And you do that all the way around. And once you get a couple layers on, you come in and lay a piece of rebar in. one notch over from where you did the row before, so that when you stick, this isn't one of the vertical pieces, but I'll use it as a demo. When you stick this in, you can see it holds it nice and straight. You can see it's on this side of that rebar and the other side of the next layer. And so you use your vertical pieces all the way up, every other piece, so it holds it in nice and tight. You don't have to tie it together or anything. And then when it's pour day, it'll all get filled. And this is what I'm talking about, the gap that is made. And we'll just spray foam all of this seam, and then we'll put our bracing in. So that's what we're working on today, getting our ICFs up. And those are some uncut ones. And that's what we get to work with. It's a 20-foot trailer, packed about as full as you possibly can of forms. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. But before long, we'll have our stem walls. Wanted to walk you guys through the bracing. So we got all the blocks up, cut them all. Every single one was a cut piece. We'll walk you around. We'll go inside. I'll show you what I'm bracing. We had a bit of a windstorm this morning, so one of the wing walls fell down. That's okay. We'll put that back up and brace it. It wasn't braced yet. So coming in a walkout into the inside, you can see I got a bunch of the bracing done, and I remembered I got to show you guys what I'm doing. So here we go. You can see I've got vertical bracing on each block, and then horizontal bracing between those, and then we'll make some diagonals after we get it all plumb. And what I mean by that is each of these pieces, any kind of offset down at the bottom accentuates as you go up. So as you can see here, not too bad at the bottom, but at the top it's quite a bit out, and so that wall is leaning out of the circle. And so what we have to do is bring that back in and then tie it all together, and then we'll do the bracing to the floor and to each other, and then to the outside walls. So I'll show you how we do that. You can see the gap that we're trying to close. So what I do is I've got a little ratchet strap tied to the staging, tied to one of the braces, and I got my level. Putting the level on there, you can tell not quite there, so the top's got to come in. So what I do is I got my ratchet here. Just do a little bit of ratcheting until this gap closes up. See that? Nice and tight. I come over here and check it with the level. It's probably a little bit too far. Yeah, a little bit too far, but once I release the strap, it'll go back. So I use this to attach the wood bracing. Got these little chunks, and they go here, just like that. And you can, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you see these two lines? There's a hard piece of plastic in there, and that's the rib that goes all the way through the form, and it's designed so you can screw directly to that for both your bracing, and when people use this for walls, you can actually screw your sheetrock right to it. So obviously we're not doing that, but we're going to be screwing our bracing to that, and that'll hold this nice and tight together. And there's a little bit of gap, but you know, you got to hand cut it. So we'll come through and we'll spray foam all of the seams after the fact. But this is all nice and tight together, good enough for the bracing, and then we'll come back through. I'll show you the next step.
All right, here's what the bracing looks like on the outside to keep it vertical. You got the angle brace and then another brace in the middle. That's going to keep it plumb as we're filling it with concrete. And I apologize for not taking video during the pour day. We ended up getting some very serious thunderstorms, and we were up there. It was a very busy, crazy day. But it did go well. Here's what it looks like when everything's filled in. I'm very happy with it, and added a little bit of history to ours.